Now, while I want to make it clear that I am scrupulous in following the required procedures and that I diligently apply to all vacancies that come to my notice, here are some tips for applying for work without really applying. Apply for exactly the number of jobs your advisor demands. No more, no less. This has two advantages. A. You'll still get your wad of readies, and B. You won't look more keen than you need to be. If you did, this might encourage your work program provider to be more helpful than you want. Make sure you fill in your job search forms. This is your so-called proof that you've been looking for work. Some unreliable job seekers have been known to make up some bullshit. They falsely claim they looked at crapjobsforyou.com and went nowhere near sweatyjensinshorts.net. Still, they get away with it. There's even a government website to help you. It's best to apply for jobs off your own bat. This is important because if they choose the job, that is, they give you a printout and you don't apply for it, they might stop your door. A few years ago, the job centre did this to me because I'd lost the piece of paper under my armchair. I wasn't ready with a good excuse, which might have included, "Oh, I forgot," and "my mother vomited on it." Remember though, you only have to apply for the job. You don't always have to go to an interview. You can get away with turning down at least a couple. Just tell your advisor that you felt a bit ill on the day, having the previous evening downed 11 pints of Skugdale's brain immobilizer. Avoid interviews by taking care with your CV. Long gaps in employment reduce your chances of being hired. Drawing attention to your emotional intelligence, health, or hobbies can help no end. Don't use the internet to apply. Write your application in green ink and send it in a handwritten envelope with a second-class stamp. If you do inadvertently get an interview, you should subtly draw attention to, for example, your lack of experience, your travel difficulties, and your terror of moderate activity. Opinion is divided on the subject of smiling. Some say you shouldn't smile at all. Others say you should smile broadly and constantly, especially if you have no teeth. There is a third way, which is to alternate rapidly between smiling and frowning while staring intently at the interviewer, but this takes practice and can lead to spasming, cramping, and in rare instances excessive tensioning of the facial muscles. In one famous case, an over-enthusiastic candidate wound his muscles tighter and tighter until eventually they snapped, flinging his face across the room and onto the interviewer's potato salad. Not only did he get his benefits cut for chowing the boss's nosh, but also appeared in the news of the world with the headline, "Packed lunch, ate my face." If the worst comes to the worst, and you actually do get a job, you must deploy the only weapon that remains, mind-boggling incompetence. You can't be subtle about this. Many employees are bumbling fools, yet no one is ever fired for idiocy. If you are merely bad, they'll just give you a crap pay rise, or give you the most boring tasks, hoping you'll leave of your own accord. So you have to be jaw-gapingly stupid. As this must appear natural, you have to start from day one. Even this may not be enough. In one of my few jobs, for example, I sat at my computer screen each entire day, staring at the screen glassy-eyed, and occasionally blurting out, "I like pie." Not once was I seen to do any useful work. My supervisor once told me to complete a project in 4 weeks. 10 months later, I moved to another company, still with the task unfinished. In an unrelated case, a friend of mine demonstrated a way of trying to get fired that is not recommended. He worked in a local crisp factory, operating a machine that filled bags with crisps. Frequently, he and his co-workers would eat large amounts of onion, garlic, Stilton cheese and boiled eggs. Then they would compete to see how many open bags they could burp into before sealing and sending on for distribution. When this was discovered, he was identified as ringleader and moved to administrative duties. That's how difficult it is to get dismissed. Best not to get to this stage in the first place. Finally, following these rules is no guarantee of successful work avoidance, but it gives you a head start against a vindictive work program. Good luck.